WHO will deliver me. Season 1, The Mark Awakens. Scene 1, The Cry. In the night, heavy rain poured over the small village of Abanri. Thunder shook the roofs while dogs barked wildly in the darkness. Inside a tiny room, 17-year-old Amara Eria slept restlessly. Sweat covered her face as she twisted violently on the bed. Then suddenly, her eyes opened. Completely black. A horrifying scream escaped her mouth. At exactly 3:13 a.m., every mirror inside the house shattered at once. Crash! Her mother, Ngozi, rushed into the room in fear. Amara sat upright, breathing heavily. Blood slowly dripped from her nose. Then she whispered softly, "He is standing behind you." Ngozi froze. Slowly, she turned around. Nothing was there, but written on the wall behind her was a sentence scratched into the paint: "She belongs to us." Ngozi began trembling. Because she had seen those same words before. 20 years ago, the night her younger sister died. Scene 2, The Shadow under the bed. The next morning, the atmosphere inside the house felt strange. No birds sang, no wind moved. Amara sat quietly during breakfast, staring at nothing. Her older brother, Malik, tried to joke. "You scared Mama half to death last night." No response. Then Amara slowly looked beneath the table. Her face changed. Fear. Something was moving underneath. "Amara?" Malik asked. Suddenly she pushed herself backward violently. "There's somebody under the bed." Malik sighed angrily. "You need rest." He checked beneath the bed. Nothing. But as he stood, scraaatch. Long claw marks slowly appeared across the ceiling by themselves. Everyone screamed, and from beneath the bed, a deep voice whispered, "Amara." The lights went out instantly. Scene 3, The Forbidden Room. That evening, Ngozi took Amara to visit her grandmother's abandoned house outside the village. The old building looked lifeless. Dust covered everything. Amara wandered through the hallway until she noticed one locked door at the end. Chains wrapped around it, strange symbols painted in red. "Don't touch that room," Ngozi warned quickly. But later that night, Amara heard whispers calling her name. The chains on the door slowly loosened themselves. Clink, clink, the door creaked open. Inside the room were burned Bibles, candles, ancient drawings, old family photographs. Amara picked up one photo. A young woman stood beside a river. She looked exactly like her. On the back was written, "Ada area, taken by the Hollow Throne." 1983. Amara's hands shook. Then another whisper came behind her, "You are next." Scene 4, The First Manifestation. On Sunday, Ngozi forced Amara to attend church. The entire village already whispered about her. During worship, Amara suddenly froze. Her breathing became heavy. Pastor Jude continued preaching. Then Amara began laughing quietly. Not normal laughter, something darker. The congregation turned. Her voice suddenly changed into something ancient and terrifying. She began speaking a strange language nobody understood. Wind blasted through the church. The lights exploded. Glass shattered. Women screamed. Pastor Jude ran toward her with his Bible. "In the name of Jesus." Before he could touch her, boom. An invisible force threw him across the altar. He crashed into the drums. Amara slowly lifted her head. Her eyes were fully black again. Then she smiled. A smile that was not human. Scene 5, Pastor Elijah returns. News spread quickly across Abanri. By evening, one name returned to everyone's mouth. Pastor Elijah Vance. Years ago, he was known as one of the strongest revival pastors in the region. Until one terrible night, after his wife died during a deliverance, Elijah disappeared from ministry. Now he lived alone near the forest. When Elijah entered Amara's house, the atmosphere changed immediately. Even the air felt heavy. Amara sat quietly in a chair, chained lightly for safety. Elijah stared at her carefully. Then suddenly Amara looked up and smiled. "You came back, murderer." Elijah froze completely. The family cursed that night. Elijah visited an old blind woman named Mama Grace. She listened silently as Elijah explained everything. Finally she spoke. The area bloodline was cursed long ago. She explained that centuries ago, during a deadly famine, one ancestor made a covenant with dark spirits in exchange for wealth and protection. The price: every first daughter would belong to the spirits. Elijah frowned. There must be a way to break it. Mama Grace shook her head slowly. Many tried. None survived. Then she whispered something terrifying. This girl is different. The darkness inside her is waking faster than before. Scene 7, the River of Spirits at midnight. Amara sleepwalked out of the house. Barefoot, eyes closed, she walked toward the forbidden river outside the village. Villagers believed evil spirits lived there. Malik secretly followed her. Amara, she ignored him. Then Malik stopped suddenly. Amara was walking on the surface of the water. His blood ran cold. Mist covered the river. Shadowy figures stood inside the fog. Watching, whispering. Amara slowly opened her eyes. Then dozens of voices spoke through her mouth together. The gate is opening. Suddenly she collapsed into the river. Malik jumped in immediately. The dark water pulled both of them downward. And beneath the water, Malik saw giant shadowy hands reaching toward them. Scene 8, the failed deliverance. The village gathered for a powerful overnight deliverance. 5 pastors arrived from different regions. Candles burned around Amara as prayers filled the room. At first, the spirit seemed weak. Amara screamed violently. Black veins spread across her skin. Pastor Elijah shouted prayers boldly. Then suddenly, silence. Amara became calm. One pastor smiled. It's over. Then every candle flame turned black. The room became freezing cold. Amara slowly lifted her head. And laughed. Not one voice. Hundreds. You cannot cast out what was invited. The walls shook violently. Windows exploded. One pastor collapsed unconscious instantly. Another began bleeding from the eyes. Fear consumed everybody. Even Elijah stepped backward, because deep inside, he realized something horrifying. This was not ordinary possession. Scene 9, the Whisper King. Rain poured heavily again that night. Amara sat alone in the dark room. Chains wrapped around her wrists. Then suddenly, the shadows in the room began moving. A giant dark figure slowly formed behind her. Tall, horned, smoke-like, its face hidden. Amara's mouth opened slowly, and another voice spoke through her. Deep, ancient, terrifying. I am the Whisper King. The chains began shaking violently. Elsewhere in the village, dogs howled. Babies cried. Electricity failed across the entire area. The Whisper King spoke again. The 7th gate will open. Then Amara began levitating slowly off the ground. WHO will deliver me. Near dawn, the demonic presence suddenly vanished. Amara dropped weakly onto the floor. Normal again. Human again. She looked terrified. Broken. Small. Tears filled her eyes as Pastor Elijah approached carefully. Her voice trembled. Please. Help me. Elijah knelt beside her quietly. Amara grabbed his shirt desperately. If God is real, why won't he save me? Elijah could not answer, because deep inside, he was asking the same question himself. Suddenly, clang, the chains around Amara snapped apart by themselves. The lights exploded one final time. And from the darkness, the Whisper King's voice echoed. She belongs to us. Screen cuts to black. End of SEASON